online ways to engage students in the classroom.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be a part of this panel with such a great group of colleagues, and I want to thank Gail for organizing everything. So it's awesome. Thank you. So my name is Mfon Akpan. I'm business faculty at National Louis University here in Chicago. I teach business courses face-to-face, online, and blended. And what I would like to do today is talk to you about Periscope application. Before I get started, I want to get an idea of where everyone's at with social media. So can I get a show of hands of who uses social media?
Which one?
Yeah, what do you use?
I just don't know nothing, because I don't like anybody to know what I'm doing. But my wife does.
What does she use?
Facebook.
Facebook, awesome.
I actually include LinkedIn in the curriculum.
Okay, LinkedIn. Kel, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I use Twitter professionally, and then Facebook, Instagram.
Okay, great, Facebook. Anyone else? So let me get a show of hands of who uses social media in the classroom. What do you?
No, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Yeah, just LinkedIn, and then an internship class, and that's it.
Okay, great. So let me tell you about Periscope. So what Periscope is, it's a live streaming application that you can actually download on your Apple,
If you don't have Apple, what?
Android. Apple or Android. I've got an Android, so you can download it. I'm opening up Periscope right now. The great thing about it is that you can actually travel anywhere, right? And watch someone that's actually streaming pretty much anywhere in the world. So we can go to South America. We can click on South America. There's 11 people streaming. I don't know what's going to pop up, but so this is something someone's streaming in Brazil. So hopefully it loads up, but you get the idea. So you can watch. I don't know what they're doing. There's a leg right there. I don't know what that is. But you can actually watch live streams. But the great thing about it, you can also make your own live streams. So you can push a button, and then it's initializing the video. You push a button, and it'll start broadcasting live.
Make sure you don't put it over here.
I won't put it over there. I won't put it over there. So what I wanted to do was just share with you my journey to using the Periscope application. And it starts off with Blackboard Collaborate. So can I get a show of hands of you who use Blackboard and who has used Blackboard Collaborate? Okay, what was your experience, Kaya?
It was hard, actually, because we were doing it between two campuses at the time, and that's a problem for it. It didn't work well, and the students kind of clumsy is what I found.
Right.
I may not use it right, but.
Right. Great, thank you. Someone else had a hand up.
Yeah, we also had a learning curve where people were getting kicked off. We had to get back on, and then just basic, people not being familiar with online meeting protocol. Like, who's at this meeting? Everybody should know. It can't be a secret stalker at the meeting.
Right.
But I think it's resolvable. But most of the people that were on it were new to using the tool.
Right.
So it was very frustrating to try to get work done.
Yes. I hear the frustration.
And would you explain what Blackboard Collaborate is? Because I'm very functionally know, I very little know about Blackboard. Because I teach online, but we use different platforms. It's Loud Clouds that we have. I have a question posted, and students have to respond to those posts and discussions and so forth and so on. Is that what Collaborate is?
Well, Collaborate is a great tool where you can actually interact live with students.
Okay.
So you can have actually a video feed It also has a whiteboard where you can actually write on the whiteboard. You can actually do screen sharing. You were mentioning that before. You can share your screen. Students can also chat, and then you can also record that whole interaction. And so it's multifaceted.
Can you do it without being there on site? You just record it and then have them to watch it?
Yeah, well, you can do it. So actually, you can record your Blackboard Collaborate, I call it broadcast, and it's actually there in the Blackboard course shell. Great thing about it, you can actually convert it to an MP3 or an MP4. That's what I was asking before, and then you can upload that to YouTube or wherever. So, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was a good question. So, the story unfolds with Blackboard Collaborate and this man, Mark Beyer. He's a very interesting man. How did I meet Mark Beyer? Well, I met Mark Beyer. I work out at a place here in Chicago called Shred 415. Mark Beyer is actually a trainer at Shred 415. But besides that, he owns his own protein bar company, which is sold all around Whole Foods, but have called Mark Bar, named after him. So I was always curious as to how he got into this protein bar business. So one day I took his class. After taking the class, we had some locker room talk, and I found out. We had clean locker room talk. Clean locker room talk.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
There's no video or anything like that?
No video. No video. So while we were in the locker room, I mean, like I said, he's an interesting man. He told me his whole story. He grew up in Ohio, studied accounting. Then he moved to California, where he switched gears and actually started studying culinary arts. Started a catering company, met his wife. She's a nurse. They moved to Chicago, and then he started training, got into fitness, and then he started this company. So I'm like, wow, this is a great story. My students would love to hear this. This would be really great. You know, they find a lot of value in that. So this is where the Collaborate comes in. So at that time, I was teaching a intro to finance course online. We used Blackboard. So I said, this will be great. Let's set up a Collaborate session. So we scheduled a meeting, and initially I had to send him a link because he's not part of the course. I mean, we couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get him how to figure it out. So we rescheduled the meeting, which was great. Got the link, was able to guide him through. It took about 15 minutes. He was able to come into the Collaborate session. And I mean, it was better than the locker room talk. I mean, he was on there, he was telling in detail, he was so passionate about sharing to the students. And he talked for about an hour. I mean, it was just amazing. But guess what? I forgot to push record. So the only one who heard that story was me. So after that, and we never connected again. We never connected again. I apologized. I said, listen, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't record. He was like, well, you know. He talked for over an hour. I mean, so after that, I said, I'm not going through this again. I've got to find a way to actually be able to bring a guest speaker into the online environment for my students. So what I found out, that's a picture of me and my dad, Dr. Akpan, but who was a guest speaker in one of my classes. So I used Hangout. At that time, Hangouts on Air was a separate entity, and that was part of YouTube. But I would use that. So when I had a guest speaker, I would have my students to send questions. I'd give them a deadline. They'd email me the questions. I'd forward them to the guest speaker. It was great. Then the guest speaker would come down to my office where we would actually I'd record everything. I'm pushing record, so it's working. Right? So we push record, we do everything. They have the opportunity to speak and tell their story to the students and share what they'd like to share. That worked out great. It was amazing. I still do it. I have my YouTube channel, etc. But I met this lady, Mrs. Farisa Knox. I called her a serial entrepreneur. She wrote a book. She's got her own blog. She's got an app. She has so many things going on. Again, just like with Mark Byatt, wow, it would be great for her to be a guest in my online course. Now, and she was very eager, willing to meet with the students, share her experience. The only problem is she's busy. So we would schedule and schedule, reschedule and reschedule again. And the problem was she'd have to come to my office, right? And sit there, and it just didn't work. So I call this serendipity in the form of my student named Melissa. So Melissa, she really liked my YouTube videos. And she told me, she said, Professor, you need to try out this app. It's called Periscope. You gotta try it repeatedly. She messaged me about it. You need to try it. It went in one ear and out the other. You know, I didn't listen to it until one day, for whatever reason, I'm playing on my phone. I download the app, and just like I showed you, I went all over the world and watched people in Brazil and in California. I said, wait a minute, I could use this app to actually do the interview with Mrs. Knox. So I called her up. I said, hey, listen, let's do that interview. Shouldn't take too long. You don't have to go anywhere. I'll come to your office. She said, you're going to come to my office? You're going to bring a camera crew? How are you going to do that? I said, no. I've got my cell phone and I've got Periscope. She said, what? She didn't believe it up until we were actually in her office. So the great thing was, went to her office. She had one of her assistants. She didn't even leave the room, her office. We just pulled 2 chairs up. She had one of her assistants take my cell phone. We broadcast live. Great thing. Some of the students who are on Twitter and who follow me, they're able to interact, because with this app, you can actually type in questions. So we did that. You see her with that sheet of paper, she's reading the questions the students already sent in. It was great. It took, the whole interview was about 22, 23 minutes. I was in her office for about half an hour. Did that, left. Video was saved to my cell phone. I converted MP4 and then uploaded it to YouTube. That's where the question about the closed captioning. So I was able, with YouTube, to use that closed captioning. And there you have it. That's how I use Periscope to actually bring in guest speakers. Not only for the online course, it can be for face-to-face or for any questions.
So do you need your phone? Could she have had the Periscope app on her phone and you wouldn't have even had to go there? Or does that work?
It would work. The only thing is she would have the video. So what happens when you can set the app, so when you're broadcasting, it records and saves directly to your cell phone's gallery. So then I'd have to get that video from her if I wanted to do any changes.
But she could send it to you, but that.
She
You
could,
just wouldn't have the-
potentially.
You wouldn't have the live questions.
Right,
Yeah.
potentially. Right, and there are ways where I could view her broadcast and then copy it and then maneuver it. So that's true. There are ways to do that.
Do your students put the little hearts and?
They did. They got in there and did the little hearts and everything on there. It was great. It was great. It was great.
I can think of lots of uses for this now. You could do that just for like the screen capture too for yourself as well. I like it.
Screen capture. You can do a virtual like field trip. It's a lot of great uses. A lot of great uses.
Other questions? We have 20 seconds. All right, thank you.
All right.